Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I have a small stack this week. I think I'm expecting an even smaller one next week, but we'll deal with that at that time. So we're going to start this week with The Adventures of Lumen N. This is the granddaughter of Nemo as seen there looking all, I don't know, pink Gandalf. So, I'm officially done with this. It is James Robinson and Phil Hester. I wish those two got equal billing, but whatever. This just doesn't... This doesn't work for me. And last issue, like, I don't know, page count-wise, how many pages were annoying versus how many pages were like, yes, give me more of this. But that feeling was towards the end of the book when crazy shit was going on. Basically, her house was being attacked by steampunk Nazis? I don't remember already. But it was crazy and it was cool. And the preceding issues were washed away. The preceding pages were washed away where everyone spent too long talking about their problems and it's just very repetitious. What we get in this issue is a lot of telling and not enough showing. So Nemo and his daughter have gotten together and they're discussing his son, her father. And that's what all of these words are about. We get like a panel or two of him and how he rejected Nemo's way about doing things and forged his own path and yada yada, all this nonsense. But like, it would have been better to see that. We get kind of this, that, and that's it. But at the end of this, again, the back half, there is a kind of adventure thing, but like my hopes for the series have already been dashed. A house gets up on legs and starts walking around. There's a point, I think it's on the next page. Yeah. This is one of those books, and I say this occasionally, where it feels like the writer and artist are not actually working together. So there's a lot of instances in this where a character is saying something as if we don't see pictures, which is wild. These two people have been in the game for a very long time. They should know what they're doing, and I don't understand how we got a book that is less than stellar. This should be a home run, and the fact that it's not is really... It's disappointing, it's frustrating. I know what this book should be, and the fact that it's not amazing blows my mind. It's just frustrating to the point of I give up. Speaking of things I give up on, I skipped issue 43, possibly 42, I don't remember. World's Finest, I'm officially done. So, I didn't care about where the Bizarro storyline was going, and that's why I skipped. But there was a Robin Supergirl team-up issue, and I've enjoyed their interactions in the past to the point of I'm going to give it one more shot. Unfortunately, it's clear to me this is not fully written by Wade, because the writing is not up to his level. It is supposedly written by Wade and Russell, but based on how this reads, it's mostly Russell. Also, like, the outfit, why can't you just put him in regular friggin' clothes? This is the dumbest outfit. And he already has these dumb, oh, you can't see him there. He's already got those dumb booties. Like, this is even worse than his regular Robin outfit. Anyway, this is kind of fun, but not to the level of previous Robin, Supergirl, World's Finest team-up stories, and so I'm officially calling it quits on World's Finest. The biggest highlight for me this week is, surprisingly, G.I. Joe 12, which is another Night Force issue. This one focuses on Shooter, and there was NYCC, Comic-Con, whatever the name of that thing is. New York Comic-Con. I was just reading an article about Kirkman and the Energon panel, and he talks about characters that are upcoming in both G.I. Joe and Transformers. And there's somebody else coming to Night Force pretty soon. I guess it's probably like 6 months out, but somebody else is coming. And blood gets this going on. It's a really solid issue. I don't know anything about Shooter. I enjoyed her in this. I enjoy the Cobra stuff, the Cobra Destro stuff that is leading directly into the Dreadnought War, which I think is coming up soon. I don't think it's 30 days from now. I think it's like in 2 weeks, maybe? I could be wrong. I could easily be wrong. But I like that Hawk is building supplemental G.I. Joe. He's building out Night Force and not telling Juke, which is... it's not great. That's going to blow up in his face, inevitably. But it's a great story for the time being. I'm enjoying G.I. Joe, honestly, more than I thought it would. I should really subscribe. I am buying it on an issue-by-issue basis. I haven't fully committed to it, but it's been a year at this point, and I'm still, well, a year plus, because there was the miniseries beforehand. Anyway, where is Jinx? That's my question. When is the Jinx storyline going to cross over? All of the ninja stuff going to show up in the main title? I guess is my question, but whatever. It's still a great issue. G.I. Joe is a fun read. I wish the things were, I've said this many times, but I wish the worlds of G.I. Joe and Transformers were more connected than they actually are. They're connected, supposedly. They're connected in spirit, but not really in any sort of story that I've seen. One of the surprises for me this week is Battle Beast issue 6. This is the end of the arc, and they are taking, I don't remember how many months off. They're taking, oh, you know, I should refresh before I start recording these things. It's back here somewhere. I think they're taking like 6 months off. It's in here somewhere. You can see the very left of the screen. There's maybe somebody standing there that's familiar. But I was surprised by this, I will say, because there was a fight, and there has been at least one fight per issue thus far, but there was a face-off between these two, and I expected that to be concluded, and it is not. And it's sort of... I kind of get a better sense of the pace of the story now, because I was expecting almost a one and done every issue while building out a larger storyline in the background, sort of Invincible style, where there's always B, C, D plots in addition to whatever Mark is dealing with on that particular issue. And this sets up many things, and I'm very curious to see where all of that leads. I'm subscribed to this? Question mark? I believe. But I'm really enjoying it. It's just I expected the fight that was started to be concluded, and the fact that it's not, and other things that I thought were done have now returned. I'm being super vague about all of this because I just want you to read it. But this issue, I thought I knew where things were going, and I was wrong, and I have a better sense of now what is happening, where things are going, and like I said, the pace of the series, but this was not what I expected it to be, and this kind of looks like weird E.T. Art's great. The story, I now have a better idea. I can calibrate my expectations, which I will be bringing up again when I talk about Ghost Pepper, because, oh man, Ghost Pepper is kind of frustrating in the sense that at the end of issue 2, I thought it was teasing a fight that was going to happen in issue 3, which didn't happen, and then issue 3 teases a different fight that I thought was going to happen here, and that kind of happens, but it largely doesn't, and it concludes with people talking to one another instead of, like, I wanted action, and instead I got a bunch of conversation, and that's great for conflict resolution, but this is not what I was led to believe was going to happen, and in that sense I'm a little frustrated, but now I once again have recalibrated my expectations, and I think I'll continue with Ghost Pepper for now, but whatever happens at the end of an issue, I cannot expect that to actually come to fruition in the next issue, is what the last couple of issues have led me to believe. There is more of a focus on the cooking aspect, the almost cooking competition between these various food chefs, food cart. There's weird, like, world-ending fighters, and then there's food trucks. And honestly, the emphasis is more on the food truck storyline than the world-ending combat. And I would like that to be reversed, but that's not the story I'm reading. So the art's great. The story is a little bit frustrating, I guess, based on my own expectations and not enjoying just what I've been given, but that's where I'm at. So I don't know what else to say. She is cooking on the cover. I don't know what those striped things are. It's almost like a Beetlejuice worm, but I don't know, man. It's hard to recommend, but I'm going to say, if you're curious, give it a shot, because I do that all the time. And there's something else that I'm going to talk about here, which is Punisher issue 2. This is the Red Band. It's one of, I want to say, 3 Punisher books, because there's the Knights, Red Band, and soon to be, I believe, the Daredevil Punisher miniseries. So because I wasn't getting many books, and I was curious about the recent Punisher start, issue 2 was out last week. So to me, 2 days ago. For you, it was last week. Issue 2 was out, and I wasn't buying much other stuff, so I grabbed issue 1 off the rack of my local comic shop. And I had read the preview pages, which is this opening sequence where Frank is waking up bloody and shot, and I think possibly also stabbed and out of ammo. And he doesn't remember who he is, which is a great setup. And then there are other story elements here. So he ends up getting away after shooting at some cops, a cop boat. And then he runs into this old lady, and there's this surprise Fisk storyline going on, and there's also Tombstone, and there's some cops, and all of that's great. I enjoy all of that. But I got to this page here. Well, one, Frank runs into this old lady because he washes up on a beach, and he tells this old lady, "Take me home." And she does, which I found surprising. And then he's like, tweezers, lighter, vodka, and needle and thread. And I expect the old lady to have tweezers, sure. Needle and thread, maybe. Lighter, questionable. Graffiti. Vodka, also questionable. It seems like anytime somebody needs to sew themselves up, all of this stuff is at hand. I don't think I've ever... That can't be true. I've had vodka at some point in my house, but I don't have a lighter. Like, if Frank washed up on a beach that I'm walking on, which is already unlikely to happen, but I wouldn't have the things that somebody shot needs, because I don't like vodka, and I don't have a need for a lighter. It's a super stupid thing to get hung up on, but I did anyway. It continues. Fisk is at one point giving a speech to what is revealed to be a dead woman, and this speech only makes sense if she were alive, which she's not. It is mind-boggling. So the speech is only given for the audience's benefit. It's well written, I'll say, but why someone would say this out loud to an empty room makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't think this is a Punisher book that I want to continue with, because one, I'm enjoying the one issue that has come out from the Marvel Knights, and I think that's enough for me. And this just has, it's really great in concept, and it's failing me at an execution level, so I'm going to bow out. But what I wanted to say, if I could talk directly to Berg for a moment, but everyone else, I try a bunch of stuff, right? Like, if anyone's been watching it for any length of time, you know I try a bunch of first issues. And I was talking to Berg last week at the shop, again, 2 days ago. And he was giving me some shit about a comic that I had bought last week, saying I knew that it was going to be bad, and then you read it and you said it was bad. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still going to try it. And what I've repeatedly, because I didn't say this at the time, I didn't think about it until much later, but what I've said to him before is he has access to information that the public doesn't early. So what I want to know is what good books are coming. That's what I want from him. I don't want some kind of I told you so that a book is going to be bad. Back when previews existed, it's 300-400 pages of books and items, and I expect like 0.0176% of that to be remotely good, and the other 99 to be trash. Stuff that I'm not interested in. So I only want to know if something is good. If something is bad, don't tell me. I don't care. You can warn me, but I still might try it anyway. Because rare as it might be, there are hidden gems that I stumble on, and I'm like, hey, this is great. And I will continue trying new things in hopes of finding one of those gems. So, moving on. Lastly, from a few weeks ago, Zatannic Panic. I finally finished it, and much like I said a few weeks ago, the art in each story is better than the writing. But the Andrew McLean one, the Warlord, is pretty fun. I enjoyed that one. The Swamp Thing Constantine was also fun. Etrigan was fun. Like, there's fun stuff in here. Constantine, Swamp Thing. It's a werewolf story. See? It's a good time. Good times. Anyway, it's fun. Nobody needs to read this. And Ambush Bug I found very annoying. Oof. Very annoying indeed. I'd forgotten he was in that. Forgotten for the best. I deleted those files. Anyway. So, for anyone that's curious, and if this is still on the rack at your comic shop, it is still Halloween. It is the season where this is appropriate. Give it a shot if you are curious. But in every case, the art is better than the writing. Plastic Man is definitely worth seeing, though. That shit is crazy. So, given this weird week of books and my rants about extremely specific things, pick of the week is going to G.I. Joe. Battle Beast is runner-up. Still enjoyable. It's just I had to recalibrate, and there's plenty of setup for future storylines here. I don't know, man. Just not what I was expecting. Anyway, G.I. Joe, pick of the week. Surprising everyone? Who knows? I got all of this from my local comic shop, where I hang out and talk to Berg on a weekly basis. So, if you're curious, if you don't know where your comic shop is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thank you for watching. And if you know of any good books that I'm not reading, please tell me. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.